Jiu-Jitsu Academy. I'm here with my student Dwayne. We're going to work on just some simple guard passes. These are nothing fancy. This is just some of the basics guard passes. This is stuff that I require my students from white to blue belt. They need to know some guard passes. So these are the basic ones that they have to know for their first strike on their white belt. And it's, like I said, just super simple. I just want to go through some of the details and that type of stuff. So we're going to set up here. I'm going to try to get the angles the best I can so you can kind of see. We have a limited camera option, so I'm going to have my student Dwayne land his back again. Okay. So the key thing about when he has me in what we call the closed guard, so move this way a little bit. When he has me in a closed guard, he's got his legs wrapped around my back. Okay, I want to make sure that my base is very strong. Okay, so I'm sitting. I like to literally sit on my heels. I know that they have this variation, and they have what they call live toes, which they'll sit heavy on their heels again. I don't really care for that too much. It kind of hurts my body more than it's worth it. So I like to sit flat. Okay, I feel like I'm more stable here. But that's up to your choice on what method you use. I know some people use the live toe method and some use this one. So either way, it doesn't matter. The escapes will be the same. There's different ways I can get my controls. I like to have this staggered grip. I use my forearm inside here. Okay, I know you can be dirty, dig your elbows into the nerves. Okay, you know, whatever. You know, if you're in a street fight, yeah, do that. Make it painful for them. Okay, dig your elbow into the groin. Okay, but for training, I just put that forearm. Actually, you have a better prying anyways this way. You're not feel the knee glutes you have your elbows and you're trying to push. Because I know people that can resist that are used to that pain. Okay, or you have this method here where I'm just pushing my hands up into the sternum this way. The purpose of this hand here is to keep his hips on the ground. Okay, elbow obviously is going to be tucked in to the leg, so that it's harder for them to get to the elbow. Okay, now I like to keep my hand turned so they cannot bend my elbow. Okay, I used to do it like this, where I had my hand like this, and next thing you know, they're clashing my elbow and I'm being pulled in, right? Okay, so it's like, hey, I'm getting pulled in all the time. This really sucks. Until I found somebody that said, no, just do this, and that takes that away. So that's perfect. So now I place it so my palm is facing down. Now when he grabs a hold of me, and he goes to pull in, my hand is now locked. And now they cannot bend the elbow, so I can ride this out a little bit longer. Right? So I have a much better set. Okay, so now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to bend this up this way. He goes to pull me in. Okay, so you definitely can see the advantage of having my hand turned this way. So, and I can't remember who taught me that, so whoever it was, thank you, sir. Okay, so, but this method is definitely much better. Okay, so I like this position here. So now, when we are going to break the guard, the biggest mistake I can make is lifting my butt up to try to go backwards, because now he can break my posture down again. Okay, so the key thing is I want to keep my butt on my heels. So I'm doing this little scoop. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick here. Okay, now I learned this one actually from a really good friend of mine, Mr. David Dunn. Okay, he's a Pagan or a Jean-Jacques Machado black belt. Okay, you just go here. So I'm just kind of doing this, and you notice that my butt is not leaving my heels. Because as soon as my butt comes up, I start to go forward, which means pulling me forward is much easier. So I just kind of scoot on my hip, or on my leg. You know, you don't have to make big motions. You just have to keep going until your knee can pass the hip. So you can place your knee in the center of the hip, or in the hip, wherever you like to put it. Okay, so we use this little butt scoot, really good thing. I always like to, if I know who taught me the technique, I always like to give them credit for that. Okay, because I've had a lot of instructors. Okay, so if I'm here like this, he's got me broke down here. I can just you know, I can push out, right? And again, that all depends on grip strength. You know, sometimes people have strength grips that is just almost impossible to break without causing pain to them. Okay, so remember, and I'm more of a street fighting guy, so you know, if I have any problems, I'm going to resort to striking him. So, so I'm in my position here. He's got his legs wrapped around my back. I start my little scoot, so I feel that pressure, and then I'm going to break. Okay. Now, I like to make sure that my elbow always stays on the inside of his leg, and then when I'm here, my elbow is actually touching the floor. Okay. Okay. The reason I do that is because if I go like this, and his leg is free, he can come up and put his foot on my hip. Right now he's starting to have a good barrier going on here. So to prevent that, I like to keep my elbow here, so now he cannot put his foot on my hip. Okay, because that just that just is miserable when they, especially guys with long legs. You know, then they get their feet on your hips, and then you're kind of getting pushed out. This kind of sucks. So this first one here, I'm going to keep my elbow. Once I break the guard, it's really important that this elbow stays inside the leg, so they can't pull for triangles. It'd be really hard for him to triangle because I have so much control on this leg. Okay, so, but you never know. You know, there's all kinds of things that people come up with today. Jiu-Jitsu is a lot of neat things. So now, this first one is what I call the traditional guard pass. This is the very first guard pass I learned from the Gracies when I trained with them. Okay, it's obviously a lot different than it was 30 years ago, but it's still a very good pass. So I'm going to take this hand, I'm going to slide it under, and I'm going to literally grab a hold of his ankle with my foot. Okay, now I'm going to come up, and then I'm going to drive, and as soon as I'm coming up on my feet, to push. And then I just let the pressure release. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to sit into what we call your shiro kaskatani. And keeping this here. This hand is up to protect against knee strikes. I always want to protect against street fighting application. Okay? And then of course from here, this position is for taking them out. Okay, so I'll do it one more time. I'm going to do it on the other side. So he's got me in his closed guard. I break the grips. Okay, I get my grip, palm facing down, hand inside, elbow here. Okay, I'm just kind of using this rotating motion to try to hit his legs apart once I spread it out enough. Okay, so I start my little walk back. I clear the hips. I place the hip in the center. I pry, pushing his leg to the floor. Elbow touches the floor, so his leg cannot get into my hip. Okay. When I'm going to stay low, I don't want to lift his leg up because that gives him momentum to move. Okay. I don't want to lift him up. I don't want to give him anything. So I'm going to always stay low. I'm going to go here. Okay. Catch this up, lift. You notice this is here. Very hard for him now to move out. I drive, passing the guard. Okay, I like to get this nice grip across the neck, causing discomfort. Okay, okay. Now, you notice I still have this. I'm having this so he can't start stripping away from me. Okay, so I'm still keeping this until I'm ready to change to the next position, which would be here. Okay. Now from here, I scoot my hips back so I can spread his arms out. We're locking against a possible knee strike. Okay, but it's also, again, I'm holding this to keep him from shrinking. Okay, so I'm holding it so I can control where he's at. Into the mount. Okay. So, the traditional guard pass. Okay. I don't know if anybody calls it different. I'm sure they do. It's been around since Jiu-Jitsu's been around, so it's probably one of the original guard passes. So now we're going to go into the next one that we teach. Okay. So again, we start out the same motion. I break the grips, whatever way you do it. Okay. Sometimes you have to use You know, if he has a grip and it's really hard, I have to use 2 hands against one to break the grip. It's really important to know, understand how to break grips, because the grips are the essentials of Jiu-Jitsu as well. You know, it's important to have strong grips, and that just makes it harder for me to do things when you have control with the grip. Okay, and they're also very important for good chokes. So I'm in this position here. Okay, I do my little scoot, I break. Again, I pin his leg to the ground. Okay, my elbow's touching the ground. This elbow is inside his thigh. Okay, I don't want his legs to be able to do anything to me. Okay, so now this one here, I call this the far knee guard pass. Okay, so this is, you know, some people like to call this types of motion knee slicers or things like that. You know, I just, for me, it's a far knee guard pass. Okay, so I'm here. Now my knee is going to travel from back here to his hip. Okay, it's going to come up here, it's going to go right over his leg, and it's going to place right next to his hip so I can block his hip. Okay, my foot on the other side is going to follow the feet. The feet are going to stay connected. Now that is really important, because if I move this leg over here and this leg stays here, then he can trap my leg. You know, I'm coming up, and then this foot comes over. Now I'm caught in a half guard. Okay, and I have to fight through that now. Okay, so to prevent that, let me show you what I'm doing. Okay, so when I'm in this position here, I have my feet. They're connected together. Okay, so when I'm in this position here, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to keep my feet connected, so there's no chance for the half guard to get there. Okay, so it's really important that I make sure. Let me do that here in case now it's not in the frame. So I'm here, I pass, I go here. I pass, I go here. I pass. So when I'm passing, I'm putting all my weight on this leg. That should be in there. So, okay, also too, as I'm passing, this hand that has a leg, I'm going to feed it this direction. Okay, because my goal is to have this foot on this side capture that leg. Okay, I want to capture that leg. Okay, so we're here again. Let's do it straight on this side. Okay, so I'm in this position here. I broke his guard already. I have my legs down here. My toes are together. As I come, you see how I'm feeding. I'm taking my hand and I'm pushing. So you see how I have this foot locked here. Again, the more control I have of his hips, the less he can move and do things against me. Okay, once I'm in this position here, I like to swim. Again, I go back to this position. I go cross body. Doesn't matter. Okay. The key thing is I'm going to take control of this leg the whole time I'm passing this leg, making sure that this doesn't become a factor in my ability to not be successful. Okay. So I'm in this position. I'm going to grip. Okay. I'm going to go. I'm going to do my little butt scoop. I'm going to break the guard. Pin the leg to the ground. Elbow tucked in. I slide. I feed the leg here. I can go here. I always want to go inside. Now I can swim to this if I need to. If I'm going to go cross body. If I'm going to go to the mount, I'm going to go here. Okay. If I'm on this side, okay. If I'm going to go to the mount position, I'm going to start out here. Or I can even go cross body too. Right? I can set up for locks. Right? If I'm going to go cross body, maybe I just reach for this underhook here. Right? Get this position here. Okay. And then I can come over. The key thing is if I'm going to go to cross body, this hand needs to go to the hip first. Just so they don't replace guard. Okay. You always need to have the hip blocked. Okay. I can either use my knee next to the hip to block it, my hand, or my hip. Okay. The key thing is if I pass your legs, I don't want to end up back in your legs, okay? I don't want to make a mistake of doing all that hard work to get to the top side just to have you put me back in your guard again, okay? So I see that it's a pretty common mistake with beginners is they do all the hard work, they get to the guard, or they pass the guard, but the guys put them back in the guard right away. Okay, so let's do that. Just lock that hip, make sure that leg is not coming back in. Okay, so that one is what we call far knee. So now we're going to do what we call, now this one is, I call it near knee, but this one definitely would be in the category of what we call a knee slicer pass from your knees. Okay, you can do that from knees, standing, whatever. Okay, so I'm in this position, palm down, nice pride. I come in, I've already scooted back, but this time I'm going to bring this in. Okay, so now I'm in a position where I have this leg up. Okay, this is a very powerful position here because from this position I can go to this side. I can go to this side. Okay. He can't armbar me. He can't triangle choke me. He can't do anything with my legs stuck in the middle. Okay. The key thing is I want my shin touching his hips. I want my foot close, everything close, no space. Okay, good grip here. Hand on the outside. Okay, protected. Okay. Now for this drill, if I go to this side, I push. I'm going to slide this in. My knee's going to go right next to his hip. Okay, as this knee is going down, I'm swimming for this gi. This hand needs to go under the shoulder. Okay. Okay. If I try to go over the head, he's just going to shuck me over, and now he's on my back. Okay. So if I'm going to this side, I need to go into what we call Kazura Kaskatami. I grab the shoulder, I lift this arm up. I post, slide my arm in, or my leg in, and I have the control. From here, I like to go to elbow control for the Kazura Kaskatami. Okay, I like to stay low on my Kazura. Okay, some people go high. I prefer to stay low, okay, because I can move more. But I do want this on the shoulder, nice protection here. This is a great position because now I can attack this arm. I can also attack this arm. Okay, and I can also attack chokes too if I put my hands in the right spots. Okay, alright. So now I'm going to get back up again. Oh. my friend is making faces like I'm heavy. Okay, so we're going to do this one again. Okay? So now, if I decide to go to this direction, okay, so I'm in this position here. I have the hands here. I have the elbow here. I do my butt scoop. I come up here. Put my pressure here. Okay, maybe when I put the pressure, his hip falls down that way, so maybe not a good idea to go that way. So when I this one here, again, I'm going to put that foot down, and I'm going to fish for the head. Okay? You notice how my body will always stay low. I don't need to have space. Space equals bad things. Okay? So I always want to stay low. Get my hand here, get my collar grip. If there's a collar, if not, just hold around. Okay, now again, what am I going to do? This hand has to go to the hip as I'm switching my legs around. Okay? So that I don't end up back in this guard again. Okay, it's so important to always block the hip so they can't put you back in the guard. Okay, it's just like boxing. If my hands are up, I defend my face. Okay, if my hands are not up, I'm going to get punched in the face. This hand is protecting against me being regarded. Okay, this is important. Okay, because you can lose right away by getting knocked out or put back in the guard. You know, we lost the exchange if he puts you back in the guard. Okay, so I go in here, just get a nice cross body mobilization. Once my knee is replaced there, then this hand can come out. Okay, something has always got to be on that hip. If for some reason my knee loses control of the hip, this hand can take over. Or my hip can take over. Okay? But if I do not control the hip, it will put me back in the guard. Okay, I have to make sure of that. Okay, so these are just three of the basics. So we did a traditional, which is under the leg. Okay, then we did our far knee, which goes over, and then a near knee, which we have in what we call a kneeling triangle base. Again, this is names I use. And we can go this way, that way, doesn't matter. Okay, you can go over. I can go under the leg too. I can put this here, my knees there, protected. Okay, and there's no triangle choke, nothing there. Okay, so I can go under the leg too. So this is the third option, gives you all three options all in one spot. Okay, okay, that's it. Remember, you can look at these movies on our YouTube channel, which is Michigan Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu Academy, on the YouTube channel, or on the Facebook, which is Michigan Muay Thai Academy. We'll try to put them on there. Some of these are too long for the Facebook though, but the YouTube channel will have these. Or you can reach us at mimuaythaiacademy.com. That's the website. Thank you, sir.